The bus stops in front of the school, and I get up, scooting past the cantor man. I grab Caleb's arm as I stumble over the man's shoes. My slacks are too long, and I've never been that graceful. The upper levels building is the oldest of the 3 schools in the city. Lower levels, middle levels, and upper levels. Like all the other buildings around it, it is made of glass and steel. In front of it is a large metal sculpture that the dauntless climb after school, daring each other to go higher and higher. Last year I watched one of them fall and break her leg. I was the one who ran to get the nurse. Aptitude tests today, I say. Caleb is not quite a year older than I am, so we are in the same year at school. He nods as we pass through the front doors. My muscles tighten the second we walk in. The atmosphere feels hungry, like every 16-year-old is trying to devour as much as he can get out of this last day. It is likely that we will not walk these halls again after the choosing ceremony. Once we choose, our new factions will be responsible for finishing our education. Our classes are cut in half today, so we will attend all of them before the aptitude tests, which take place after lunch. My heart rate is already elevated. You aren't at all worried about what they'll tell you? I asked Caleb. We pause at the split in the hallway where he will go one way, toward advanced math, and I will go the other, toward faction history. He raises an eyebrow at me. Are you? I could tell him I've been worried for weeks I could tell him I've been worried for weeks about what the aptitude test will tell me. Abnegation, candor, erudite, amity, or dauntless. Sorry if I butchered that. I will be saying those wrong like so many times because I have to learn how to correctly say them, and I really don't know how to correctly say them. So if you would like to comment, this is not part of the story by the way, but if you would like to comment and tell me how to pronounce them right, I would gladly appreciate that. And sorry if it's starting to get dark, it's around 5 or 6 right now. Okay, now back to the story, sorry. Instead I smile and say, not really. Instead I smile and say, not really. He smiles back, well, have a good day. I walk toward faction history, chewing on my lower lip. He never answered my question. The hallways are cramped, though the light coming through the windows creates the illusion of space. They are one of the only places where the factions mix at our age. Today the crowd has a new kind of energy, a last day mania. A girl with long curly hair shouts, "Hey!" next to my ear, waving a distant friend. A jacket sleeve smacks me on the cheek. Then an erudite boy in a blue sweater shoves me. Then an erudite? Okay, I'm just going to say how I think it's said, okay? We'll correct myself later, okay? Then an erudite boy in a blue sweater shoves me. I lose my balance and fall hard on the ground. Out of my way, stiff, he snaps, and continues down the hallway. My cheeks are warm. I get up and dust myself off. A few people stopped when I fell, but none of them offered to help me. Their eyes follow me to the edge of the hallway. This sort of thing has been happening to others in my faction for months now. The erudite have been releasing antagonistic reports about abnegation, and it has begun to affect the way we relate at school. The gray clothes, the plain hairstyle, and the unassuming demeanor of my faction are supposed to make it easier for me to forget myself, and easier for everyone else to forget me too. But now they make me a target. I pause by a window in the E-wing and wait for the Dauntless to arrive. I do this every morning. At exactly 7:25, the Dauntless prove their bravery by jumping from a movie train. My father calls the Dauntless Hellions. They are pierced, tattooed, and black-clothed. Their primary purpose is to guard the fence that surrounds our city. From what? I don't know. They should perplex me. I should wonder what courage, which is the virtue they most value, has to do with the metal ring through your nostril. Instead, my eyes cling to them wherever they go. The train whistle blares, the sound resonating in my chest. The light fixed to the front of the train clicks on and off as the train hurtles past the school, squealing on iron rails. And as the last few cars pass, a mass exodus, sorry, I really don't know how to say that, a mass exodus of young men and women in dark clothing hurl themselves from the moving cars. Some dropping and rolling, others stumbling a few steps before regaining their balance. One of the boys wraps his arm around a girl's shoulders, laughing. Watching them in a foolish practice. I turn away from the window and press through the crowd to the faction history classroom. Oh, and that is chapter 1. It's a lot shorter than I thought, but that was only my first try, and I'm really seriously kind of just reading as I go, so that's why it was kind of, I messed up here and there, but there's a little taste of what my project Divergent is, and I hope it was as accurate as I could to portray Triss, and I haven't really decided how I want to portray her, but if you would like to give me suggestions about how you pictured Triss and her voice and how she was and how she said things and that kind of stuff, I would gladly like it, because that's just how I see her, like, right now, just as innocent as I can be sometimes, just, yeah. So, thank you for watching, and thank you for helping me, and I would love your guys' feedback, and we'll see how this goes, because I will get better, and I'm planning to read it over and over and over, and so watch out for chapter 2, and we'll see if I can improve, because I probably will, especially after you guys tell me how to pronounce the factions' names, because they're really complex words, which is good, but it's just I have no concept on how to pronounce things, just because maybe it's because I'm Southern, where I just read it how it's spelled, really. So if you'd like to do that for me, then I would love you forever, and thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye.